Welcome to Spring LIB.
This question deals with solution chemistry and the concept of solubility. And so we're asked to look at some different examples here and determine um, the degree of solubility and sort of label each of these compounds as sort of a type of solution. So the first example here is hydrofluoric acid. And this is a weak acid, and as such, is also a weak electrolyte. So that means, in terms of dissociation or producing ions, hydrofluoric acid would furnish some hydrogen cations and fluoride anions when it dissolves in water, but much of it would stay in its molecular form. And so, as a weak electrolyte, it would exist in both a combination of ions and molecules or its molecular form. And it's a weak acid, and as such, that's why it furnishes protons to us as part of the ions um, that are produced in solution when hydrofluoric acid dissolves. Next example is acetonitrile. And this exists entirely in molecular form in solution. So it doesn't dissociate into ions at all. And it really doesn't have any acidic or basic properties. And therefore, um, the choices that we were provided with were acid, base, salt, or none of the above. Acetonitrile really doesn't fall under any of those categories, stays in its molecular form when it dissolves, and this would be the best way to categorize it. Next example is sodium perchlorate, and this would be an example of a strong electrolyte, so that when it dissolves in water, it furnishes completely sodium cations and perchlorate anions. And so it would exist completely as ions in solution. And this would be an example of a salt, where sodium would be the cation, perchlorate the anion, and the combination of those two produces a salt for us. The final example is barium hydroxide, and the presence of this hydroxide ion tells us this is a strong base. Um, and as such, it will furnish um, lots of barium cations and hydroxide anions when it dissolves in solution. So um, this too would be a strong electrolyte existing exclusively as ions when dissolved in water.